and all other platforms, making a lot of noise without stopping, because I am looking forward to the day that you will be so inspired and you'll be so informed that healthcare will never be a problem to you. That is my dream. My dream is to make sure that I inform you as the public, you as our clients, to an extent that you are not afraid of the healthcare providers. You can ask questions without having a doubt, and you can get answers from the healthcare system. It's not fair that you as an individual, you're trying so hard to get answers from us who have gone to school to actually get this knowledge to impart differently in you, but you're not able to get it. We still hold back this information with the fear that if I give you this information, I'll lose a client. That is the point. The point is I'm coming in between the healthcare system or healthcare providers and the general public to make sure that I provide information that is necessary for you to understand healthcare. Once you do that, once you understand healthcare, you will actually ease the burden on health systems. We want to make sure that those beds in the hospital setups are actually eased. We don't want to actually maintain the beds full. The hospitals are so full, packed, and people are sharing beds. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that you are so empowered that you can actually change your life from wherever you are. So as we empower you, we also appreciate you empowering us through helping us in different ways. You can help us by sharing our videos, by subscribing on our channel so that we get to 100,000. Of course, we are almost there. Okay, we are just tuko tu hapo. We are getting there. So we want to get to 100,000. We had a target of 1,000 videos at the end of this year. We are at 992 videos. Imagine that. Today is 18th of December. We only have 8 videos to get our target, and we will do that. We will even go beyond that. And next year we have even more targets for those of us who God will give us the grace to live tomorrow. But you know well, on Identity Fridays, it's hard for us to live in the future because we don't have it. We only have now, the power of now. Anyway, support our channel by subscribing, like our videos, share and comment, ask those questions, we will answer you. And as you do that, we also grow. Now, the support that you people are according us is what is so beautiful. And through that, remember this is a Christmas season. So therefore, people are going to the villages. People have saved money to go and afford alcohol, to go and flex in the villages and do all these things. Just be different. Just do the opposite. Wherever the masses are going to, just go the opposite direction. It is a difficult task, but you can achieve it so easily. On that note, allow me to pass my appreciation to you for supporting us without getting tired. Allow me to say this, that the small amounts of super chats that you send to us, the small amounts of tokens that you send to us through M-Pesa and through even TikTok gifts and all that, we decided, you know what? We are going to do it differently. So this is the point. All of you know that I'm an advocate of the gym and exercise, okay? And we have the 6 compound exercises that we perform every time. And these 6 compound exercises, of course, number 1 is the deadlift. Number 2 is the bend over rows. Number 3 is the pull-up. Number 4 is the overhead shoulder press. Number 5 is the bench press, both incline and flat. Number 6 is the squats. Now, if you do these 6 exercises consistently, all your health goals shall be achieved in terms of exercise. Do not go to the gym and run on a treadmill. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because this moment in time, where I attend my gym, it is so unfortunate that these guys are unable to open the gym at 5 in the morning. Of course, you know very well we train in the morning. So they don't open the gym in the morning. And I realize some of the gyms will actually close through during this festive season because people have gone to the villages. So nobody's training in the gyms. Therefore, it will be expensive to maintain a gym now. So people are closing and heading to the village. So I decided, you know what? These guys have been sending me some tokens here and there. What should I do? Because I want some form of independence, not to always rely on the gym, because I want to train at a specific time. I like training in the morning at 5 a.m. in the morning when, of course, my testosterone is up, my gym is up. Doc, you never talk about push-ups, yet it's very important. I am the one. It's not like I never talk about push-ups. The reality is this. Bench press comes in handy to actually take the place of push-ups. But if you don't have a bench, let's say you have a home gym and you don't have a bench, that's where push-ups come in handy, because you want to build the arms and you want to build the chest, and now push-ups come in handy. So of course, where we said bench press, you can put slash push-ups. So yes, so I decided, you know what, these guys have been very lenient all this year. And they've been sending me tokens, and I had to put this token somewhere to actually save and buy something that will make me independent of the gym. And guess what? I decided to go and check out some gym equipments. And shout out to this gentleman who is called 𝗘𝗔𝗡𝗥𝗘𝗦. You can check him on TikTok. We talked to him and he decided, you know what, for me to support this journey, I will make sure that you get these things. And guess what? I got a very, very simple but home workout that will make sure that I perform all the 6 workouts that I've always wanted to do and that I actually do in the gym all the times. So guess what? Here, number 1, this is a 10 kg plate. Amazing. 10 kg. Number 1. Hey. Number 2, here, a 20 kg one. Right? Amazing. And then here, this is a 20 kg dumbbell. Amazing stuff. Okay? And lastly, I have a bar. I don't know if I can actually bring that on. Yes, I have this bar. This is a 1.8 meter bar that is called an Olympic barbell. Why am I showing you these things? I'm showing you these things because 1, you see, I can do every single one of those 6 using this stuff. Were they expensive? They are not expensive. You can actually have it. And you see, it's a lifetime investment. So you don't have to care about how much they are. Simply go there and talk to that guy. He's a very good guy. He will actually guide you through. Check it out. There's a page on TikTok called 𝗘𝗔𝗡𝗥𝗘𝗦. Okay, so just go there and check him out. He sells these things and he makes them very available. So what I did, the dumbbell, the 20 kg dumbbell, 1, I can use it for several things. Of course, you saw the video that I posted today that I was doing the bicep curls. I can also use it for the tricep. So those are 2 already. And then I can use it for goblet squats. You see that one? And then I squat with it. That is already done. So 1 compound exercise, which is the squats, and then 2 alternative exercises, the tricep and the bicep. I can also use it for the bench press. You see that? The bench press. So for my chest. So now arms and chest covered and legs also covered and the core. Perfect. Number 2, the plates. So for the 10 kg plate, I load it on the barbell bar and I use it for the overhead shoulder press. Those of you who have been here, you've seen me do these things, the overhead shoulder press. So that is 1. And number 2, when I put it down, I can simply load the 20 kg and I use it for bend over rows, the rowing. That is for my back and my core. And also I can use it for a deadlift. So I simply add 20 kgs plus 10 kgs. That makes it 30 times 2. That is 60. So a 60 kg deadlift. And I'm good to go. Imagine that. So now I've covered the deadlift. I've covered the bend over rows, barbell bend over rows. I've covered the overhead shoulder press. I've covered the squats. I can even use this 60 kg as my squat, the barbell squat. So I've covered my squat. The only thing that I've not covered is the pull-up and possibly the chest, because I don't have the bench. So I can use a simple bench to just do a bench press, or I can opt for the push-ups now. You see that? So that my 6 exercises are actually covered and I'm mimicking the activities that I'm supposed to do on a daily basis. So this was actually a complete gym setup. Imagine that. So as you go and binge yourself on chapatis, as you consume those seed oils, alcohol, I'll be here trying to work out on Mondays, on Wednesdays and Fridays with my team, my weight loss team, that we do these exercises every Monday at 5 a.m., Wednesday the same time, and Friday the same time. Then, of course, I do a morning run on Mondays. So I'll be achieving my goals and maintaining them. As you binge yourself on those things, you come back here in January. Trust me, where will I be? So I look at these things and I'm like, amazing stuff, amazing. So guys, so thank you so much for being lenient and actually making sure that we have this stuff through your support. And this is the thing this is actually what I'm talking about, that all of you play a bigger role in us growing as we play a role in you growing in terms of health. In the house, yes, in the house. I don't need a big place. And if you see the videos that I posted today in terms of shorts on YouTube and some short videos on TikTok, you will see I'm actually training here, just in front of this studio of mine. So I don't need a big thing. So now I'm independent of the gym. I don't need to go to the gym to do anything. I only need to run on Monday in the morning. I come back in the evening. I do some workouts in the house, of course. I'll do on Wednesday. So I rest on Tuesday. I do on Wednesday. I rest on Thursday. I do on Friday. And I'm good to go. A house workout, simple gym. And it's a complete one. So what is your excuse? What is your excuse? Oh, you don't have a treadmill? Why do you need a treadmill when you can run, when you can walk, when you can jog in the morning? Why do you need a big machine? Why do you need a whole room? Why are you waiting to have a whole house so that you can actually make one room to be a gym? No. Name of the gym equipment, please. The gym, one, of course, the plates. The 10 kg and 20 kg plates. Number two, we have the barbell bar. Olympic barbell bar. 1.8 meters. I think they also have 1.5 meter. And then I have the dumbbell, 20 kg dumbbell. And a 25 kg dumbbell. And then I have what else? My body. Simple. Yeah? So you can make a gym at home and train. So do not create excuses. You need it. You need that simple setup to actually make sure that you maintain your health goals. And a very small space in your house. You simply work out in the morning, about 30 to 45 minutes in the morning. When you wake up at 5, by 6:30 you're done with the gym. Go and take a cold shower and keep moving. In the morning you're on an empty stomach. Do it. Go and work out on an empty stomach. Work out and then push yourself. Eat at midday and do a zero carbohydrate diet. That will be perfect healthcare. And sometimes if you're doing a prolonged fast, just wake up in the morning and do a morning exercise when you have highest energy, you have high growth hormone, you have high testosterone as a man. Do it and keep moving. The sale of the equipment, please, is actually called Cool Gym Equipment. Just check it on TikTok here. Cool Gym Equipment. It's a guy who is a very good guy, my friend. He made sure that I have this setup, and I want to say thank you to that gentleman. I also want to say thank you to you for supporting us. It's just tremendous. Man, I feel so good about this. Anyway, let's go back to our topic of the day, pancreatic cancer. We can hardly understand the cancer of the pancreas if we don't even know what is a pancreas, what roles the disease play. Of course, we've talked about the pancreas before when we were talking about diabetes. We've talked about it all the time. Somebody's still asking, what are the 6 exercises? Hey, I think they will tell you here. Okay. So anyway, so we've talked about pancreas before. But for us to actually tackle this topic called pancreatic cancer, we must understand the pancreas even better. Now, understand this, that the incidences of cancer, both by occurrence and by death rates, this is how they go. So for occurrence, breast and prostate cancer are the most prevalent. We see a lot of breast and prostate cancer in men and women also. Even breast cancer in men, we see it. Number 2, so number 1 is prostate and breast cancer. Number 2 is the lung cancer. And number 3 is the colorectal cancer. And colorectal cancer is actually related to this pancreatic cancer, but you will see how. And then on the death that these cancers cause, number 1, lung cancer is the number 1 cause of deaths, followed by breast and prostate cancer, followed by colorectal cancer, and now followed number 4 by the pancreatic cancer. Do you see why we're finding need to talk about pancreatic cancer? Because it's number 4 cause of death in terms of cancers. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the colorectal cancer later on. We'll talk about the breast and prostate cancer later on. We'll also talk about the lung cancer. So through the series of the videos that are coming through, and we'll tell you this as we go ahead so that you can actually understand it. Now, one thing you should know, I'm a guy who likes using diagrams. I'm a guy who is old school a little bit. I hope you can actually see that. My people on TikTok, you're hindered from seeing this orange color here, but again, I hope you just see it. So, good, there it goes. Perfect. So this is how your pancreas looks like. Now, this is the head. So this is the one that is actually emptying into the duodenum, into the small intestines. So this is the head. So we call it the head. This thing that looks like a rungu here is what we call the anchors. And then we have, of course, the body. And then we have the tail. It's that simple. So you just know the head, the body, and the tail. Leave alone the anchors. You don't need to cram that. Now, inside the pancreas, you can easily see there's a whole chain that looks like branches. These are what we call the ducts. And we will talk about these ducts so that you get to understand why did I draw this. And then inside this body, we have different types of cells. We have the alpha cells, and the alpha cells produce glucagon. Glucagon is that hormone that you actually need when you are fasting. And its role is to actually break down fat or a glycogen to actually give you glucose. So it raises blood glucose levels when you're not eating, when you're fasting. So therefore, don't tell us you'll die because you're fasting. You have a hormone that is called glucagon coming from the pancreas that increases your blood sugars when they are going down to maintain a stable flow of blood sugars. The other cells here are called the beta cells. The beta cells are the ones that produce insulin. Now remember, insulin is a hormone that you produce when you're eating. So its role is to actually open cells so that you pump the glucose from blood into the cells, either for utilization or for storage. Okay, and then we have other cells that are called the delta cells. The delta cells are cells that actually produce a hormone called somatostatin. Now, somatostatin is a hormone that is called an inhibitory hormone. It is a universal inhibitor. It inhibits production of all other hormones, including itself. So if you end up overproducing somatostatin, you even block its production. Okay, good. So now, those are the cells that are actually here, and their role is to produce these hormones. But I want you to see this, that here, this is the bile duct coming from the gallbladder in the liver. So this bile duct, you see this is a gallbladder. This gallbladder contracts to release bile, which comes into the cystic duct and then into the bile duct and then joins the pancreatic duct. So this is the pancreatic duct. And then the bile content and the pancreatic enzymes and juices are now deposited into the small intestine in the duodenum to aid in digestion. So somebody will ask, what are these pancreatic enzymes that are coming from this pancreas through these ducts into the major pancreatic duct and into the small intestine? You will understand that the pancreas is the only organ that can actually play the entire roles of digestion on its own. This is a very important organ because it actually takes the role of the entire digestion. It can actually carry it on its own. Why? Because one, it produces amylases. Amylases are enzymes that break down carbohydrates. Number two, it produces the 𝗣𝗔𝗡𝗥𝗘𝗦 or the proteases, enzymes that break down protein. And number three, it produces the enzymes that break down fat. They are called the lipases. Now, because the pancreas is protein in nature, if it's producing the proteases, they have to be very inactive. For example, it cannot produce 𝗣𝗔𝗡𝗥𝗘𝗦 or another one called trypsin. Why? Because if it does that, that is already the active enzyme. They will actually digest the same pancreas. So God designed it perfectly to produce pro-enzymes. For example, pro-𝗣𝗣𝗡𝗥𝗘𝗦. And then the trypsinogen. They are very inactive, so they have to be released into the small intestines for them to aid in digestion. So they are activated once they get into the small intestine, the duodenum. That's when they are activated. And what activates these enzymes? Wale watu wamesoma. What activates these enzymes? We all know that HCl activates trypsinogen to trypsin. We also know that HCl is not going into the small intestines as such. There's a small percentage of HCl that is going into the small intestines because it has to be neutralized. But listen, so once these enzymes come from the pancreas, when they are inactive, they get into the duodenum, and there is another enzyme called enteropeptidase. Do not cram these words. Just understand there's an enzyme that is produced in the duodenal wall that actually makes these enzymes to be active. Mtu anasema kuna headache tayari. Bado. So that enzyme called enteropeptidase, entero means inside the lumen. So it makes them active so that they can actually now help you digest fat, digest protein, and digest carbohydrates that are coming from the stomach. However, a point to note, these enzymes that are coming from the pancreas do not work very well in an acidic environment. So in the small intestines, you must have a pH that is basic or alkaline for you to actually digest the foods that are coming out. You must have an alkaline pH. So how then do we get to achieve this alkaline pH? That is where it gets interesting, because remember these ducts? These ducts are going to produce the bicarbonates and water. So these ducts are actually secreting bicarbonates and water, and these bicarbonates are coming into the small intestines to neutralize the acid that is coming in with food from the stomach, so that it provides an optimum environment for the enzymes to continue with digestion. Why am I taking you all through these stories? Because I know if a pancreas has a problem, indigestion is coming in. So those people who end up having the stool that has fats, the one that when you try to flush in the toilet doesn't go, are having a problem with the pancreas. Either an obstruction, or the cells of the pancreas are actually inhibited, and now there's a problem. They actually destroy it, so there's a problem. Number two, you've heard me talking about the beta cells and the alpha cells that produce glucagon and insulin. These are hormones that regulate blood sugars. Therefore, if you're having a problem with the pancreas, you are unable to produce enough of these hormones. Therefore, you'll have an unstable blood sugar control. That means you'll either be diabetic or you'll be hypoglycemic, depending on which hormone is actually affected. Number two, we have the head of the pancreas and then we have the tail. Most cancers of the pancreas affect the head. I repeat, most cancers of the pancreas affect the head. And now the pancreas is divided into two. You see the head and then the body and tail. So the body and tail are what we call the endocrine pancreas. Anytime somebody mentions endocrine to you, understand that this is hormones. Endocrine means hormone. Endocrinology means study of hormones. So the body and the tail are the ones that are responsible for production of hormones. The head is the one that is responsible for production of the enzymes that are involved in digestion. So therefore, most cancers, when they affect the head, we are unable to have the process of digestion being complete. Shika hiyo na ukwame nayo. For the students, the one that you call the exocrine, the head, is the one that has the ducts, because it has to secrete hormones into the ducts and then into the pancreatic duct, then into the small intestines. For the endocrine one, it doesn't need ducts. It only needs the production of the hormones, and then these hormones diffuse into the bloodstream and they are carried away from the pancreas to go and do something there. Tuko pamoja? Hiyo ni anatomy ya pancreas. Sasa understand hivi, that kichwa inakupatia peptidases za kudigest protein, inakupatia amylases za kudigest carbohydrates, inakupatia lipases za kudigest fat. That is the head, and that is where cancer affects most. Let's go back a little bit. When we talked about the basics of cancer last time, we all agreed that we have a tumor, and then that tumor is divided into two. One side is the benign, the ones that do not spread, the ones that you can actually do a surgery to remove them because they are localized. So if you have that tumor in the pancreas, you can easily qualify for a surgery. We remove the tumor and the pancreas is safe. But this other side, we say we have the malignant ones. So those who attended the live on Monday can understand this. So this other side, we have the malignant ones, which are now called the cancers. And the malignant ones are again classified into two groups. One is the carcinoma. Carcinoma, we said, it spreads through the epithelium. This goes through the lymph system. The other side, we said, is the sarcoma. Sarcoma, we said, it flows through blood. And we agreed that cancer spreads through two fluids in the body. One is the lymphatic system and two is the blood. Metastasis. So pancreatic cancer can spread through the lymph into the liver and affects the liver and destroys the liver. Now you die from multiple organ damage. Or it can go into the blood and then spreads all over the system and affects all other organs. And that's the reason why you die from cancer. So you don't die from the cancer being a cancer as such, but you die from the cancer spreading through blood or the lymph to go and kill other organs. And that's how you pass. So the pancreatic cancer is classified under the carcinoma. If you are concentrating, you will know carcinomas are spreading through the lymph. So pancreatic cancers, most of them spread through the lymph. They prefer spreading through the lymph, and that's how they end up affecting the liver. Wacha kwanza tupoe kidogo. Pumzika kidogo, sink that in. Ujue if you have pancreatic cancer, of course your liver is going to fail terribly. And that's why people who have pancreatic cancer, they experience that yellowing of the skin because of the blockage of the bile. And now this bile is actually going to get into the blood and now cause you jaundice. So they have these yellow eyes, they have the yellow skin. And before they are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, they have treated jaundice, they have treated those yellow eyes and everything, and it has failed. So by the time they are being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, it is very late. Why? Because some of them don't even experience symptoms. So pancreatic cancer can be asymptomatic. And this is the reason why by the time you're being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, it has taken you so much time before you realize that. By the time you're getting that pain when you sleep on your back, by the time you're getting the severe jaundice, by the time you're getting severe steatorrhea means fatty stool. By the time you're losing so much weight, you're getting indigestion and bloating and constipation sometimes. All these things you see, it's very hard to actually point a finger and say, this one is pancreatic cancer. Because there's no pain until the late stages. And actually, most of them who are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, it comes in as a result of affecting other organs and not the pancreas. What is the relationship between severe itchiness? Okay, good question, Doti. That severe itchiness is because you blocked the flow of bile, and now you are accumulating a lot of these bile salts that are coming from cholesterol, and then these bile salts leak into the blood and they start causing you a lot of itching. So they start itching so much because you've blocked the flow of the bile salts. That's a good question. Thank you for that question. Good. So by the time you get the diagnosis, appropriate diagnosis that you have pancreatic cancer, my friend, you have suffered. You have treated indigestion, you have treated gastritis. Because again, you'll see one of the symptoms of pancreatic cancer is severe gastritis. The only difference with the ones that is for ulcers or for the reflux and the one that is for cancer is when you sleep on your back. If it is pancreatic cancer, this gastritis is so worse, it's so severe. Okay? Even if you've taken the milk that you people believe in, even if you've taken the double action, Gaviscon or 𝗖𝗔𝗡𝗥𝗑𝗦, it will still get worse when you lay down. And now we start thinking, what is happening? Should we do an abdominal CT? Should we perform the liver function test because there is jaundice? Because there is so much itchiness, there is dark spots on the skin, there is stool that has fat, is very greasy, there is constipation. Should we move that direction? Now we start noticing, okay, so now differential diagnosis will lead us to pancreatic cancer. And I will tell you how to diagnose it because there are other things that you can actually do to actually make sure that you get an appropriate diagnosis. However, at this moment in time, you already understand it's better to prevent pancreatic cancer than to treat it. And why is that so? Because number one, it is so hard to get a diagnosis on the word go. And number two, when you have pancreatic cancer, not the tumor, the malignant one, and by the time you're getting the diagnosis, you see it's from other organs, other organ damage, right? So it's already spreading, metastasis. So by the time you're getting an adequate diagnosis for this cancer, it is from other organs, not the pancreas. And by that time, it is not treatable. Therefore, there's no treatment for pancreatic cancer. The 5-FU that is used and the gemcitabine that is actually used are being experimented. They're experiments. So the chemo that is used to treat pancreatic cancer is an experiment. Hello? And what did we say about side effects of chemo? I'll give you a minute to answer that. What did we say about side effects of chemo? Let's see who were here and who really concentrated on this. What did we say is number one side effect of chemotherapy? And now you see here, we are headed to an experiment, trying to use chemo as an experiment to treat pancreatic cancer. We know very well it is not treatable. The only way to go about it is to actually prevent it. But we are actually bringing in this chemotherapy to actually experiment and see if these people will recover. But again, the prognosis of pancreatic cancer is very poor. It's very poor. Why? Because already these people have multiple organ damage by the time we are diagnosing them of this. So they are already at maybe stage 3 or stage 4. All of you are getting it right. But there's one thing that you people are missing out. All of you are getting it so right. All of you are getting it so right. The low immunity, the loss of hair, the fatigue, the bone weaknesses, the suppression of the bone marrow, the stomatitis, the gastritis, the ulcers, the loss of skin, rough skin, the mouth ulcers and all that. You're getting it all right. You're forgetting one major side effect of chemo. The reason why we say, chemo, I will not talk about it because if I do, they will actually demonetize the channel. So one major side effect of chemo, there's just one major that is you guys are forgetting. You've mentioned all others, perfect, but there's just one. Moja tu, amazing. Somebody got it right. Somebody got it right. I don't want to mention it because I saw. They actually realized I'm talking about it openly and they decided, you know what, Let's demonetize. Let's just block this guy from monetization. Huh? If you're not on YouTube, people are getting it there. Please. Joan has got it on TikTok. Thank you. So now imagine we are using a drug to treat cancer, but what do? We end up using it as an experiment for treatment of pancreatic cancer, and we end up getting what again? Thank you. Thank you very much. So therefore, it's better to prevent pancreatic cancer than to think you will treat it, because you will end up with another condition. That one. And then somebody will ask, how does cancer kill? Of course, if you're bright, already we have the answer here. The spread of the cancer through other organs, through blood or the lymph, is going to destroy other organs. Like pancreatic cancer is going to destroy the liver, is going to destroy the kidneys, going to destroy the rectum. Now you end up having colorectal cancer. So it's a spread, metastasis. When it's spreading, that's when you start dying, you start having these problems. So you destroy yourself in terms of the liver, and now liver functions are actually affected. You destroy yourself in terms of the colon and the rectum, and that means you are unable to digest fiber, you are unable to digest food completely, you are unable to absorb nutrients, so malnutrition is coming in. So one cause or one way that cancer kills you is anemia. When you have the ulcers, and even the chemo is going to bring you the ulceration that will cause you bleeding. Now you're losing blood, you're going into anemia. Now the system is deprived of oxygen, and now your muscles, and now your tissues, your organs starts to die. So anemia is number one. Number two, of course, severe weight loss. Why are we having severe weight loss? Because we are having malnutrition. We are unable to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins. We are unable to absorb all the other vitamins. We are unable to absorb or digest protein adequately and optimally so that we can absorb the nutrients. And imagine this. This is for people who eat every after 2 hours. You see, the body was designed perfectly. So food is supposed to be digested in the stomach a little bit or mixed with the acid. The protein, the larger molecules of protein are supposed to be broken down into smaller polypeptides to go and be digested by the pancreatic juices. But as these foods or this chyme from the stomach is entering the duodenum, the pancreas again is producing bicarbonates and water to neutralize the acid that is coming from the stomach. Why? Because that acid can destroy the duodenum, can actually digest the whole of the duodenum. So we have to neutralize it. That's why the body is so perfect. So we neutralize it so that this food comes into the small intestine as alkaline, with an alkaline pH, a basic pH. And now the pancreatic enzymes are coming into the duodenum and finds a very basic pH. Now they optimally work. They act at their topmost level. So if you have a pancreas that is failing, you are unable to produce the bicarbonates to come into the small intestine. What do you expect? The acid that is coming in with food is going to destroy the wall and the epithelial cells that line the small intestines. And that is now colorectal cancer, which is going to happen. Even the iliac cancer, the small intestine cancer, or the duodenum cancer, because it's going to destroy the epithelial cells that line this. And then you're going to have indigestion, therefore malabsorption. That's how you end up losing a lot of weight when you have cancer. Number three, of course, when it's spreading, it's causing multiple organ damage. So metastasis is one way that cancer kills you. And of course, number four, obstruction. Like this one is going to obstruct the flow of bile, and this bile will start piling up into the bile duct and into the cystic duct, and now piles back into the gallbladder. Now gallbladder infections. Some of it is going to cause you gallstones that will even cause more obstruction. And now you will need a surgery to remove the gallstones, or you will have to be removed the gallbladder. That's why most people who have pancreatic cancer, they started by a removal of the gallbladder because they saw, jua mtu amekuwa na jaundice all through. Then we do a scan, we see, there's an obstruction in the gallbladder. We head straight to actually doing a surgery for the gallbladder to remove the gallbladder, but we did not even tap out of this cancer. So by the time they are being, even if it's a tumor, by the time you're removing that tumor, this guy has suffered a removal of the gallbladder. So therefore, again, they are suffering from indigestion. That's why they are given octreotide to aid in their digestion. Now they cannot digest fat, so they have to be given something external. And now they are warned, do not eat fats, do not eat saturated fats. But the problem is the removal of the gallbladder. So I think, doctors, by the time you're thinking of removing the gallbladder, look at the implications that are coming in. Look at other things. Maybe do an abdominal ultrasound or a pelvic ultrasound to see if there's a problem with the pancreas. We can't just focus on one organ and forget the others. So you obstruct the intestines through this cancer. You obstruct the bile. Now you're ending the gallbladder. Now you're ending up to build up the bile and causing a lot of jaundice. We call it kernicterus. And then you obstruct the pancreatic duct, and now the pancreatic enzymes are actually filling up in the pancreas. Some of them can actually be activated there and digest the same pancreas. So problems after problems. And as you build up these pancreatic enzymes and pancreatic juices in the pancreas, we are going for acute pancreatitis and then chronic pancreatitis. As we get the pancreatitis, you're getting into more problems. No digestion, destruction of the pancreas, worsening of the same cancer. But look at it this way. There's a drug that is used for diabetes that is called, starts with T and ends with Met. Those people who are using drugs for diabetes, starts with a T and ends with Met. 50, 1000 or 5100 or 500. That drug has two combinations, metformin and sitagliptin. Now there are drugs that are called gliptins, sitagliptin, vildagliptin, and all that, groups of those drugs for diabetes. These drugs have actually been proven, because there was a study that was done on sitagliptin to be specific. And then generally the gliptins are known to cause acute pancreatitis. So chronic consumption of these drugs that are called gliptins, the ones that end with the word gliptin, will cause you pancreatitis. So you tell me, you failed to fix the kitchen, you got a diagnosis of diabetes, you are put on that drug, and it's very common nowadays. Every doctor is writing that combination. You take that combination, and of course, it's supposed to be taken for a lifetime. And now one of the side effects is actually to affect the pancreas. Now, remember, diabetes is coming in because your endocrine part of the pancreas, the body and the tail, that is responsible for production of hormones, the glucagon, the insulin, and the somatostatin, is failing. So diabetes is coming in as a result of you having low insulin because the pancreas, the beta cells are being affected. Once you have that, tell me, you have that problem of the pancreas, and then you take a drug that's going to cause more problems to the pancreas. Tell me, how are you going to recover from that diabetes? Because if this person is supposed to recover from diabetes, number one, activate the production of insulin, because in diabetes type 2, where sometimes the insulin is very low, we need to bring it up to pump glucose from blood into the cells, which I don't advocate for, because already by the time you're getting a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, it means you already have a lot of glucose in your system. You need to clear it out. So therefore, giving you an external shot of insulin is a waste of your time and money, because we need to clear glucose from the system. So why would you give you insulin to keep the glucose in the system? Is that not keeping you more diabetic? Questions that we should ask each other, right? Nikianza kuuliza hivi wananikimbiza. Mnaanza kunipea warnings, Warnings. I've just put out a video that was talking about type 1 diabetes. Like, you imagine, you're 20 years old and then now you're diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. What happened? Because type 1 diabetes, you are unable to produce insulin from the pancreas. So now you need an external insulin. What is the need for this insulin? To pump glucose from blood into the cells. But for 19 years, you've been taking carbohydrates without having to suffer a coma. So what happened in these 19 years? Which insulin were you using in these 19 years that now at 20 you have type 1 diabetes? Daktari, please educate me. My pancreas has no product, it doesn't produce insulin enough, so I have to get an external insulin. Question number one, why am I getting an external insulin? Is it not because I'm eating carbohydrates, so I want to pump this glucose into the cells? Question number two, am I not having glucose, so much glucose in my system, and I need it to get out? So why are you giving me insulin to get glucose more into my system? How will I recover? Number three, I am 20 and you're diagnosing me with type 1 diabetes. How did I survive for 19 years without insulin? And I was eating carbohydrates. Daktari, backbench. Daktari, unanisikia? If you answer, I mean, again, this is just comedy, okay? We are in a comedy show, so nothing serious. We're just asking questions. See, we need to know why we are taking insulin for a lifetime. See, our pancreas is failing. I'm 20. If I break my leg now at 20, within the next 3-4 months, my leg can come back, right? Because my cells are rapidly multiplying. What is happening to the pancreas that it cannot come back? That now I have to be on insulin for a lifetime. Daktari, you said it's an autoimmune, right? So my immune system is actually targeting the pancreas and destroying the beta cells. But Daktari, when I have arthritis, which is autoimmune, the rheumatoid arthritis, you give me possibly Diprofos or a steroid to suppress my overreacting immunity. Why is it that in this one you're giving me insulin instead of giving me a steroid? Why do we have to leave the overreacting immunity to continue overreacting and continue destroying the pancreas, and now you have to give me an external insulin? Why don't we handle the overreacting immunity? Daktari, am I the only one who is crazy? Hizi maswali tunasema wananiita controversial. I am very controversial. You know, you cannot study the syllabus and stick to the syllabus every single day. You don't question it. You see common sense, but you can't uphold it. Mimi naona hiyo kweli ama ni mimi naona peke yangu? Am I the only one who is seeing this evil nature? And then when you ask this question, you're slapped with genetics. In genetics, you're trying to look, you even start to convince yourself, like, maybe in my family there was somebody who had type 1 diabetes. Maybe they died. I can't know. I don't know all my relatives. Now that you people live in the city, you can't know all your relatives, right? There must be one who died from type 1 diabetes in the genes. Anyway, so sometimes because of this pancreatic cancer, you see we don't have a cure for pancreatic cancer because it spreads without us even knowing. We are handling other things. And this can actually be relatable to gastric cancer. People who are always taking omeprazoles, who are always taking antacids, the suspensions, they don't even know they're actually suppressing their immune system. They don't know because the acid is actually an immune system. They don't even realize that they are neutralizing the acid all the times, and that is a problem to them. Now they keep on suppressing the symptoms, thinking it's ulcers, thinking it's H. pylori. They take a kit, nothing is happening. As they do that, the cancer is establishing itself because they are continuously eating sugars, the wheat, the seed oils, the inflammatory foods. So they're actually creating an environment for cancer to even survive even further. So as you take that antacid, as you take that H. pylori kit, ask yourself questions. Why am I taking this thing and this H. pylori is not going away? I go back to hospital after 2 months, I test is positive again. Do you see my point? So you are suppressing the symptoms of cancer without even knowing. By the time you're coming for a diagnosis, gastric cancer, it is already at stage 4. You can't reverse it. Now we'll tell you, of course, cancer will one day die. It cannot die. You will die. So pancreatic cancer is one of the cancers that we can easily prevent than think of treating. Because again, I've told you there are 2 drugs that are used for this. The one is 5-FU, so 5-fluorouracil, and the other one is gemcitabine. All these are chemotherapeutic agents that will not treat the cancer. They are under experiment for that. They will not treat the cancer. They will only suppress the symptoms and help you in palliative care. But after you've started them, the side effects that you will get might actually help you go to the grave faster. Sindio? So when you get this, you have a diagnosis now, and it's already spread. We have the metastasis. What are we thinking? Of course, one of the management of this cancer is just to watch and wait. When it gets to this level, we simply watch and wait. Specifically for people who are older, people who have other conditions that are actually lowering their immunity, people who are on multiple drugs and other underlying conditions like diabetes, hypertension, HIV. Some people whose cancer has spread already to other organs and we cannot do anything about it. What do? Just watch and wait. And then give them hope. You see that? So why do you wait to get to that level? And have you realized that cancer has a way of draining your resources totally before you die? My friend, you've left a whole village poor because of yourself. By the time you're dying from cancer, by the time you're leaving that ward, going to the mortuary, my friend, these guys have sold land, they have sold wanyama, wameuza mpaka kidney zao, because they are hoping that maybe this one will be a unique one. And it's interesting how we keep on hoping that God is going to bring a miracle in this one. When we bring all the pastors to pray for this one in the hospital, we believe he is going to get better. It is going to become a miracle. But the reality is, as we do that, we are still feeding these people. Even that pastor of yours, when he has cancer, he goes, did you see the one? And may his soul rest in peace. Some of actually all pastors know, if they get sick, they will run to hospital. Nobody will run to prayers. They will run to hospital. They will rather be prayed for when in a hospital bed. And you now, you believe that they are coming in to change the life of your patient. They have to pray. And then again, of course, pastor amekuja kuombea huyu, wacha tupige 5,000 ya fare ama mafuta ya gari aende kwa sasa ile kidney jirani aliuza, the kidney that was sold now, you have to take in 5K to actually give this guy who came to pray for this guy. And then this same guy gets malaria, leave alone cancer, malaria. He is quick in the pharmacy taking AL. He gets a common cold, he's busy taking Flugon or cold cup. But the same guy is coming to put hands on this guy and he's like, you know what, God of miracles. My friend, God is busy. Let's not be that way. Please understand that most people that you believe that are brokers between you and God, and this will be, please join Identity Fridays on Friday, same spot, you will learn a lot. So those people who tell you about God and how God wants eternal life for you are afraid to die. That person you think is your spiritual leader is afraid to die. But it's the same person who is preaching how heaven is good. We will take milk there because Dr. Lewis has said no milk here. Milk is for calves and babies. No honey here because honey is sugar. No nothing. Now you will go to heaven and as a spirit, live alone as a human being. As a spirit, you will be utakuwa unachota tu maziwa kutoka kwa river and drink and singing. All these pastors who have churches all over, they would have died if at all that heaven is real. And that heaven is so serious about that it's as good as they paint that image. So at some point, let's ask questions again. Let's ask questions. Why do you go to hospital as a pastor instead of praying for yourself? And then why do you tell the congregation that, you know what, in Jesus' name, in Jesus' name, keep eating seed oils, eat that brown chapati. I mean, it's Christmas. Let's celebrate Christmas. Christ died. Let's celebrate him. Christ was born. Let's celebrate his birth by eating chapatis. And then we will pray. We'll pray for you so that this cancer will one day die. Oh, God of Abraham and whatever is, God of whatever and whatever and whatever, come in and shed your light on this. My friends, fungua kichwa, fungua kichwa. Hata huyo daktari anatibu hiyo kansa anaiogopa mbaya sana. Anaogopa mpaka dawa za kansa. Fungua kichwa. Haya. So one is watch and wait. Just watch and wait. Number 2, surgery. If it's a tumor, for example, if this person has a tumor in the head, we can simply know if it has not spread, it's not metastatic, we know that it's localized in one place, we simply remove the tumor and we hope that it cannot spread anymore. We hope that the cells that are around it were not so affected to actually cause metastasis. You see that? Good. So surgery is for the tumors. So because there's nothing you can do about this. But listen, there's one surgery for that they remove the entire pancreas plus a part of the duodenum. Hey. Bwana, nipe maji. Anyway, let's continue. Now we have chemotherapy, 5FU, gemcitabine. And then, of course, radiation is there. So we have watch and wait, we have radiation, we have chemotherapy, and then we have surgery. All these are things that you can actually prevent. And you see, all of them are taking a lot of money from you, right? And we can make fun about cancer here. You know very well. This is a channel that we actually make sure that health comes to your table in an interesting way. But understand this, that we can actually make fun out of it. But when it hits us, it's dangerous. It will drain us financially, emotionally, psychologically, and even our families watabaki wakishangaa, sasa si cancer ingemaliza tu yeye na day one, because you spend a lot of money on you but you never got better. And people know. I'm appealing to a generation of people who understand the burden that cancer brings in terms of the monetary aspect. In terms of this, the stress that you people have, you're hoping that you can actually wake up. You know how it is. So imagine you've treated everything. You've done all the surgeries. This guy has been removed a gallbladder. This guy has opted for a liver transplant at some point. This guy has done all the tests and everything, and nothing was seen. Only to come and get a diagnosis 3 years down the line of doing all these tests and spending a lot of money, that you know what, now you found out the real deal. Kumbe mzee ako na pancreatic cancer. Huyu jamaa, kumbe maadhe ako na pancreatic cancer. Now we're like, so what do we do? What do you do? Is there, because we think, is there a surgery? Can we do a surgery? Then you're like, you know what? There's no need for us to do a surgery. And then now somebody who was empowered with information about health, instead of them giving you the information at that moment in time, and even though we cannot save this one, we can save another one. Instead of giving you that information that you need, he's constantly selling you fear. This one has to go for chemo. You know, pancreatic cancer, you cannot, the prognosis is very bad. It's very bad. No, this one, with the stethoscope. This one has to go for chemo. Right? The combination of chemo. No, this one has to, radiation. No, straight to radiation. This one has to go for surgery. We go and do surgery. We chop off the pancreas, but it's a spread. It is already in the lungs. It's already in the liver. So do we chop off the liver and the lungs also? Hiya. So in the gut, number one cause of death is the colorectal, followed by pancreatic cancer. Colorectal, then pancreatic cancer. So you see how they follow each other. And we'll talk about all of them so that we actually create awareness, the real awareness about cancer, not coming with the placards and saying cancer will one day die. No, we must make sure you have this information in your head so that once you see what you need to change, you simply change it. And you see, for this one, we can actually avoid it. You can actually prevent it. You don't even to avoid it, just prevent it. Do what you have to do so that if any case you get a diagnosis of this cancer, you will know, you know what, I did everything. And trust me, eating healthy, fasting, sleeping, easing up on stress levels. How will you end up this direction? Because the body has an innate way of healing itself. So we cannot heal the body. I'm telling you this for free. We can't. We don't have any abilities to heal the body. Whatever we studied in medical schools is a syllabus that was designed by somebody with his own intentions. So if you're thinking that medical syllabus through a person is coming to change your life or your kitchen, it's not going to do that. Simply do this. Ask yourself, where was cancer about 30 years ago? When the ratio of cancer was just one person, maybe in a whole city. You get that? And we talked about this on the first live. We said that all of us have the proto-oncogenes. The proto-oncogenes are the ones that regulate cellular growth and multiplication, division. So whatever we are doing to our body will determine if we can switch off the oncogenes that are coming from these proto-oncogenes, or we turn them on and now they've moved from proto-oncogenes to oncogenes and now cancer is here. And realize this, all cancers act the same way. The only difference is the organ that they affect. All cancers act and behave in the same way. The only difference is the organ that they attack. Once you have that in your head, you will know, I need to do this. Minimal life. So risk factors for the pancreatic cancer, of course. Why do you think most men are affected by pancreatic cancer than women? So let's now start opening up our head a little bit. Wacha tukue madaktari kidogo. Why do you think, because I want you to think critically, why do you think pancreatic cancer is more prone in men than it is in women? Somebody is still asking on this live, what causes 𝗘𝗦? What causes cancer in small children? Cancer that is in small children is the same cancer in older people. And if you do not watch the live that we talked about on Monday, there's just a live that is next to this one, the previous one. It's talking about all the basics of cancer. So please make an effort, go there, watch that live, and then come back to this live again. You will enjoy. Amazing. Finn, thank you so much for that answer. Thank you so much. Prof, thank you, Halima. Yeah. You see? So you guys have answers. There is a reason why cancer of the pancreas is more prone or more prevalent in men than it is in women. Because one, women have abilities to cope with stress levels. They know. Number two, one of the predisposing factors or the risk factors for all cancers, we say it is alcohol and cigarette smoking. And guess what? Who are the strong or larger consumers of alcohol and and cigarette smoking? It's almost very rare to see a lady smoking, right? Very rare almost. But nowadays, kama demo wanashindana kwa live kuchana. Ladies are so unethical. Ladies are taking mirror. So this one, remember, alcohol intake. Chronic alcoholism causes pancreatitis and now activates proto-oncogenes to oncogenes. Now problems with the pancreas. So men are so stressed up, they can't handle stress because, of course, they lack identities. And number two, men are heavy consumers of alcohol. Men are heavy smokers. Therefore, this type of cancer is very, very prone in the men than it is in the women. Number two, of course, age is coming in handy. Why do you think age is coming in handy? I will tell you this one. It's because you've been consuming all these inflammatory foods for the longest period of time. By the time you're getting the diagnosis, you've actually done yourself justice. You've done yourself justice. By the time you're actually getting this diagnosis of pancreatic cancer, you have done yourself justice. You've eaten all the inflammatory foods that this world offers. You've drunk all the alcohol. You smoked your lungs all through. So now this diagnosis is basically just the body trying to reward you for what you loaded in. Garbage in, garbage out. You've done justice. Not injustice. You've done justice because you wanted it. You did it wanting it. So you knew that was the best life, right? So we can't say it's injustice. It's you who actually who is supposed to say it's injustice. But the one who is saying it, you've done yourself justice. Umekula chapati zote kwa sababu unataka kula chapati. And some of us are running away from poverty. Whatever we thought that is the rich lifestyle is what we're actually trying to chase. So when you can afford a few coins to actually buy food, you are running to buy all the unhealthy foods because you're running away from your poverty. You're thinking you have a wrong idea of wealth. It's true, but those people who come from Nyeri, Muranga, Karatina, and all those people kwa mlima, they're the heaviest consumers of alcohol. They're the heaviest smokers. Anyway, let's continue. So old age, but this old age is because one, your organs are actually failing automatically, and the immune system is actually going down. Number two is because you've consumed all these foods for a long period of time. So by the time you're diagnosing you, it's a long period of time. Cigarette smoking is there. Of course, don't forget alcohol. Of course, don't forget diabetes. And how does diabetes relate to this cancer? Number one, you had a problem with the pancreas. You destroy your beta cells. You're now unable to control blood sugars. So therefore, diabetes is coming in handy. And then when diabetes is coming in, it is the number one disease or condition that actually lowers the immune system. So diabetic people who have been diagnosed with diabetes, they always have low immunity because sugar is holding on to the white blood cells. And that is a problem. Another one is obesity. So as you grow fat and as you complain that we are body shaming you, we are helping you. There's nothing like body shaming. You're just fat. Fix it. And if you're emotional about it, find an identity on Identity Fridays and then go fix yourself. You know very well you're not okay being fat. You're not. So don't tell us how to call you. We will call you fat because we know fat is that obesity. Good one. Osolo Media is saying what 𝗖𝗔𝗡𝗥 is suffering from now. Osolo, thank you for bringing up that point. Now, this we have no rights. We don't even have a right to talk about it, but we will raise it up in terms of identity. Now, my son decides, you know what? Because I resent my father so bad, I will make sure that I attack him when he is on a broken leg. Identity problems. So my father is admitted in hospital, and instead of me waiting for him to get better, he can actually express himself on the internet because he's a celebrity. He knows what to do. Instead of me letting my dad go through his own processes, his own punishments, and his own evil nature, what does the son decide? Because the son is weak, and as he was speaking, I was sensing an identity problem. I was sensing a lot of feminine energy because you can easily see his hairstyle. You can easily see how he responds with the arms and all that. You can easily see how bitter he is with his biological father. He comes out and does a live, and talks about the illness of his father, 𝗦𝗘𝗥𝗜𝗘𝗦. He tells us, you know what? Of course, he takes sides of the mother. That's a problem with children nowadays. So he says, you know what? Whatever you guys are saying, that my mother is the cause of my father. My father is there. My mother is here. My father is there. So that my mother is the problem and is the one who is actually responsible for my father losing weight. That is not true. My mother has nothing to do with this. Amazing, right? My mother has nothing to do with this. My father is responsible for his own suffering. Because let me just be honest with you. My father, remember my father is there. My father has struggled with alcoholism for the longest period of time. And whatever my father is suffering from is pancreatitis. And if my father continues with what he's doing, doctors have said that my father is going to die in the next 2 years. And then that was not enough. He went ahead and said, by there you guys, as you watch those videos, just open your head, find an identity, you'll see the bigger picture. So he went ahead and said, my grandparents, again, they're in the same bracket as his father. My grandparents are so evil. I mean, I am the good one, they are evil, right? My grandparents are so evil. And why are they evil? Is because they told my mother that if my father dies, she's not going to inherit anything. Imagine. Hey, Identity Fridays. You cannot miss out on Identity Fridays. This one, we will tackle you, my friend. You decided to bring this story on the internet for us. I mean, we have to see it. We have to raise it. Tawe. Suwe. Yako suwe. So guys, as long as you're resenting your father, nothing is going to work. Doesn't matter if that father is a drunkard. Doesn't mean if he's suffering from pancreatitis. It doesn't matter if the doctor said he has 1 day to live. Who are doctors? Who are doctors who give life? They did not give life. So how are they determining when you will die? So if my father continues what he's doing, drinking alcohol all through, doctors have said that my father will die in the next 2 years. I'm like, hey bro, this guy put a roof on you. This guy put you in the status that you're in. This guy put an education on you. The English that you're speaking and wanging here like a euro. He actually responsible for that. Now you're telling us, you know what? My father is suffering from his own problems. You guy, bro. That kid was crazy. I'm like, no way. Somebody slap the hell out of this kid. Slap an identity into his head. That is the guy who gave life to you. And remember, that is your mother's choice. That is your mother's best choice. That's why she carried his pregnancy. Hey, well, women don't carry a child to a man they don't want. Uongo. You're telling us my father is weak, and it's because of his weakness he's suffering. He might die. But if he dies, I am afraid that my grandparents who are so evil said I'm not inheriting anything and my mother is not inheriting anything. Who told you own anything from your father? Who told you you're right? The resources that are for my father are for my grandchildren, for his grandchildren, my sons and daughters. Ile mali baba yako ako nayo, if you're thinking you're going to inherit that, you're useless. That belongs to your grandchildren. That means you need to create generational wealth. You need to create wealth for your grandchildren, not thinking that my father has to die so that my mother inherits things so that I can actually live the same life that I'm living right now. Grow some balls, bro. Wow. Hey. I know most of you went there and just watched the video and like, kumbe Chameleon ni mbaya hivi. So Chameleon was, hata mnakumbuka he came in Kenya and jumped from a building down and broke his legs. Kumbe ilikuwa pombe. That's the eye that you people look at because you have no identity, so you have to pick a side. There's another story. So we are preparing for Friday. So there's another story. Hii mtadeviate kidogo, tutaikata tutoe, mtaona hiyo ingine baadaye. So there's another story that this girl on this show that happens to this ex-radio presenter. So this girl comes out and exposes the weak male, let's call him a male. exposes the weak male because she's been providing all through 2 years, I think. This guy is just there, eh? Wacha mama aseme, mi sina kitu ya kusema. Guy is dyeing even the hair. And I dyed my hair because mama likes this color of my hair. Yeah, mama likes purple. Was it purple or yellow or whatever? I don't know colors. I'm colorblind. Mama likes this color. So therefore I have to make mama happy, right? And then mama whips the child out of this male. Aye. Mama says, you know what, this one, I can break up with him on national television. And this conversation has not started here. It started long ago. Do you guys see these things? Ama mimi ndo naonanga vitu zangu. And then, so that story trended all through. And then, a guy who is a celeb, certain guy who is obese and married to an obese lady, so comes out and picks the story and says, you know what, because of lack of identity, he has to pick sides. So the guy comes in and says, this guy is a very funny comedian, very funny one. So much, he's fun in terms of comedy. So good, bro. All the adverts that he does, so good. But this guy comes and picks this, and I know, you know him. His name starts with T. Somebody T creative or something. Yes, yeah, good. So this guy comes in and says, you know what? Because I know they watched that story with mama again. Another mama problem. Oh, mama is looking at him as he's watching this story, and mama is saying, you remember when I took care of you for 4 years? Why is this girl exposing his man like that? Bro, I took care of you for 4 years, right? Yeah, and then you guys are, by the mama. So now I have to prove to mama that I'm that guy. So mama comes out and so mama is talking to the guy here. Oh, hey, please tell the public. The ego is now injured. And the guy decides, you know what, I'm going on the internet. Right, supposed. You know what? Even me, mama took care of me for 4 years. There's no problem. If your lady is financially stable, you take care of the man. You don't know what will happen in the future. They are even living in the future that they don't have. If your lady is financially stable, please take care of the man. When things change, the man will take care of you. Even my mama, mama here. Mama here took care of me for 4 years, and he was paying 98 was it 0.3 or what of the bills? As I was just there, I was like, this one I have to attack. I don't, hey bro, just because mama paid for you for 4 years without having to think of anything else does not make it right. So stop telling us, because you picked the sides, because you're thinking, oh, you know what, because I was wounded the same way this guy was wounded. The only problem is, or the only difference is, you were not on that show those days, because you would have exposed you so badly. So mama would have said the same thing to you. She still speaks to you here. That's why you're afraid of just telling her the truth. So you resent your mother, you don't even know. That's why you resent this woman, you don't even know. So the guy says, oh, no, yeah. I'm like, wow. So that's why you took the sides, right? Now you have to convince us, you know what, this side is the right side. Just because you're on that side, you think is the right side. One characteristics of people who don't have an identity is they have to pick a side of the story. I told you, when you get an identity, you will never have to pick a side. You will never have an opinion, therefore you will not create a judgment for anything. You'll simply watch that story and you're like, oh, okay, here is a problem, and this problem has to be fixed. This guy is only 26, and the girl is 25. These two are so incompatible. A 25-year-old woman and a 26-year-old man are not age mates. They are not age mates. So even those 14,000 pair of shoes that this guy is wearing, who knows? He's wearing shoes from another man. That's why the lady goes ahead and says, oh, hata anavaa viatu ya 14,000. Now, where does he provide? Do you think it's just something that came out of the air? Well, this guy picks the sides and then decides to defend that side because it hurts him the most. So he says, you know what? Even me, mama took care of me for 4 years. And I'm like, amazing. So just because mama took care of you for 4 years, does it mean it's the right thing to do or to say? It's not. Women are not designed to provide. They will provide for the shortest period of time with the hope that your situation changes. So they are hoping that there's a situation that is going to change. And if you don't even know, possibly they are providing and you're being provided for by another man. You just don't know. And even if you know, what will you do? You moved into a woman's house. Are you going to run away from that woman's house? Where to? You don't have anything. I'm looking at it, I'm like, These women are supposed to be provided for. They are genetically natured or wired to be provided for. They are genetically wired to be led. And then this guy says, if mama is mama is supposed to give you money, and then you as the head, you decide what to do with the money. So am I the one who is seeing it wrong? How can mama give you the money and then still be the head? You are still the head. How is that even making sense? I thought leadership is coming with age so that you can actually be more experienced than her. I thought leadership is coming in taking roles, playing a role as a man. So then now you have reverted the roles. The woman is the provider. So who becomes the man in that relationship? And then the guy is saying, that if mama is financially stable, he can still provide and submit and be respectful. So he's supposed to provide for the man and still be respectful. Respect is not dictated, it's earned. And it's earned by a man being older than the woman, a man playing his role through provision and leadership. It is earned, it's a natural role. It will just come naturally. Respect will not come just because you have to respect me. You know, I'm the man. You know, the man, if you're a man, that word man has meaning. It respects the order of God that men have to provide for women. And through that, women will submit automatically, naturally. So then how can a woman provide for me and then respect me? Well, good comedian, but zero identity. That's why when somebody comes and says, hey, you know what, you guys, you need to lose weight, you're obese, they are so angry. They must come guns blazing. Oh, you know, Papa, you're body shaming me. Oh, there was a day he just went crazy. Posted everybody who was body shaming. The other one came in telling women, you know what, be comfortable in your own body. Only 6 months down the line to say, I am considering liposuction or gastric bypass. And then it didn't go for it. Say, I just cancelled it. I'm going to the gym. Busy running on a treadmill. It's been now about a year. They're still running on a treadmill. Is it content? Let's go back to pancreatic cancer. I am tired. Kata hii part uitupe Friday. Hiyo ni Identity Friday. Hatutaki hata kuongea story kwa pancreatic cancer live. Wacha twende. That was Comedy Show. Dr. Muchile Comedy Show. Welcome on the Comedy Show for Muchile. So Friday, let's meet here at 8:30. Let's talk about identities. Let's fix your identities so that you don't do these things. So that you actually see them, you don't hate them, you discern them. Okay? You don't uphold the nature of evil. You simply discern it and we keep moving. Good. So what are the symptoms of pancreatic cancer? Symptom number 1, of course, you've obstructed the ducts. Of course, what we're going to get here is the jaundice because we are building up the bilirubin. Number 2, you're going to get a lot of itching. Why? Because you've blocked the tubes and now the bile salts are actually accumulating and leaking into the blood, causing a lot of itching. So yellow skin, which is very itchy, yellow eyes, and now abdominal pains. And when you sleep on your back, there's a lot of pain, epigastric pain. So you're thinking it's ulcers, yet it's a epigastric pain that is coming from this. Of course, weight loss is coming in, malnutrition. Of course, a lot of bleeding, therefore anemia is coming in. We expect the stool to have a lot of fat. So you trying to flush the stool is greasy, it's not going. Inashizunguka tu ikifika chini inarudi juu. That is steatorrhea, the fatty stool. There is something else called the Trousseau syndrome. Or sign, Trousseau sign. Those doctors, they know this. Now, I don't want to cram that word Trousseau. I want just to know there's a sign that is very specific for this cancer. But this sign is this way. You see, somebody who has tetanus, if you tie a blood pressure cuff on their hands, okay, because of that pressure, what happens is their wrist and their fingers start to, there's this spasm. That's what we call the Trousseau sign. We get this, Trousseau sign, we get this. But for these people who have pancreatic cancer, when you tie that, what is going to happen is something that we call migratory thrombophlebitis. Do not cram that name. I want to break it down to you for you to understand. Migratory, migration, it moves. Thrombo means a clot. Phle means the vessels, blood vessels, the veins. Itis means inflammation. So therefore, migratory thrombophlebitis means we have a clot in the veins that is basically migrating. Comes into the hands. Before you notice it, is disappearing, is into the legs. Before you notice it is disappearing, is into the abdomen. Those clots are always moving around. That's what we call migratory thrombophlebitis. And that will happen when you tie this here. Now, you see, this is a very weird sign or symptom. How will you even know that? You must do a physical examination. You must get a very adequate history for you to actually tap out that symptom. It takes you a whole time, my friend. You must be very thorough with the history. So it's so hard to actually diagnose these people of pancreatic cancer. So you simply look at the physical observation. Do you see jaundice? Yes, check. Do you see unexplained weight loss? Check. Do they have appetite or they lose appetite all the time? Yes, check. Do they have a fatty stool? Yes, check. Do they have this sign when you try to do the vitals? Did you see any sign of the TROSA sign? Yes, check. Do they have fat-soluble vitamin deficiencies? Because these fat-soluble vitamins, the fats is going to be digested by the bile that is coming into the small intestine, but because they have blocked it, there's no digestion of fats. That's why we have that fatty stool. So therefore we are unable to absorb the fat, and we are also unable to absorb the fat soluble vitamins, vitamin A, D, E, and K. So do we have vitamin D deficiency? Yes. Do we have vitamin K deficiency? Yes. How do you know? If this guy gets a wound, he's constantly bleeding. Now, I want you to hold these things that I'm saying, because I'm going to ask you a question. Hapa mbele, I'm going to show you how the syllabus frames the questions during the exams for pharmacists, for medical officers, so that you can actually see. So does this guy have vitamin E deficiency? Yes. How do we know? We see him having a lot of infections. His system is so highly inflamed through the CRP test. Is this guy having epigastric pain? Yes. Has he been treated for ulcers before? Yes. What happened? It came back. And now, what is the other symptom? He actually suffers a lot of pain when he's sleeping on his back. Physical observation. Is there itching? Yes. And is this itching accompanied by the yellowness of the skin? Yes. Are there black skin tags on the skin? Yes. So you see, a lot of information is needed to actually get the diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. Has he done a gallbladder surgery before? A removal of the gallbladder? Yes. What was the cause? Obstruction. Was it the gallstones? Yes. Another history. And appropriate diagnosis starts with patient history. You must be so keen about that history. Oh, you must be sure. So doctors on the platform, you now know. Before you diagnose this one, a lot of things. Is there anemia? Yes. Check. So imagine all these things. And then which other organs are affected? Is the liver okay? Have we carried out the liver function test? Are they clear? Yes. Are the kidney function tests clear? Yes. Is the lungs okay? Is the breathing normal? What is the SpO2? Doctor, repeat about the back pain. Yes, when they are sleeping on their back, there is this epigastric pain. You see the pain that you feel during a reflux disease. We call it epigastric pain. But this one is very specific. When they are sleeping on their back, is when they are feeling the pain the most. It starts with the abdominal pain and then the epigastric pain. Problems. So diagnosis has to start with the history, and then now we can send for radiology to do an ultrasound, abdominal ultrasound or the pelvic ultrasound. And then we can do a CT scan to just confirm. And then now you see all other tests that we've done, the liver function test, the kidney function test, the CRP, the HbA1c, all of them we've done them. We've taken even the medication history. How much is those tests? How much will you already spend on diagnosing only? You've not even started the chemo. This is just diagnosis. Umeona venye ni ngumu kudiagnose pancreatic cancer. By the time wanafika hiyo diagnosis, wewe uko stage 3, stage 4. Tuna palliative. We now have to do away with the pancreas and the duodenum. And then in the labs, we can do something called the 𝗖𝗔𝗡𝗥𝗜𝗏. There's a test that is specific for the pancreatic cancer. It's called 𝗖𝗔𝗡𝗥𝗏. So it's a tumor marker for pancreatic cancer. There's another one called CEA for the colorectal cancer, but it can actually be used to actually confirm that there's no colorectal cancer and this is the pancreatic cancer. That's what we call the differential diagnosis. It's shedding out all others and taking us to one direction. And then after that, you can actually send it for the biopsies. So by the time you're getting to the biopsies, so I don't even have to talk about, yes, Jeremy, that one. So we don't even have now to talk about the treatment, because if it's already at this level, we cannot treat it. If it's the tumor side, of course, it's not localized, it is in one place, we can easily do away with it through surgery. But this other side, if it's malignant, so it's spreading through the lymph, we said it's is one that spreads through the lymph. So it's already in the liver, in the kidneys, in the lungs. It's difficult for us to treat it. So simply supportive care. And now 5FU or 𝗤𝗓𝗏𝗏, the chemo. But remember, those chemo are not for treatment. They are not for treatment. And if it's a tumor, you can simply do the Whipple. We call it the Whipple procedure. The Whipple procedure is one that actually does away with the pancreas plus the duodenum. Aye, that way. Yeah, so have you gotten anything here? So allow me to market my platform before I pose this question to you. And I will read this question because this is how the questions are designed in the medical field. And when they are designed this way, it makes doctors or students who are actually coming in to become doctors to simply think inside the box, nothing outside, just inside the box. The questions are very directional. They're just focusing on something that is not lead. So they have a disease and now they use the symptoms to actually forward you to the disease. That's why there are guidelines. These guidelines are actually going to make you just stick to the same things over and over. We do the same things over and over. Nobody's talking about diets. Nobody's talking about lifestyle. We're just talking about the same things over and over. So I have a platform on YouTube. It's called Health and Wellness Sport. You can't miss out on that platform. Health and Wellness Sport on YouTube. Lives on Monday, live sometimes on Tuesday, lives on Wednesday, and Friday, Identity Fridays. You can't miss out. Go there and just subscribe on that platform. You will never miss out on health content every single day. We have another platform on YouTube called HAWS, HAWS with Dr. Lewis. That's a backup account on YouTube. So when one day this one is taken down, find us on the other platform. So it's easy for you to subscribe on both so that you don't miss out on anything. Number 2, I have a Facebook page called Lewis Muchile. 80,000 people at this moment in time. Go and join it. Number 3, we have a Telegram platform called Health and Wellness Sport. Home of healthcare. Go there and get those people who will challenge you. Health and Wellness Sport on Telegram. Some of my videos on YouTube have that link. Just go Health and Wellness Sport on Telegram. And then I have this platform here on TikTok that is called Health and Wellness Sport. Go on that plus size, just press it, follow. It's the only thing that I'm requesting from you. I can give you all this free information all through. I've been doing it the whole year. Imagine. A whole year doing it. We're almost to 1,000 videos. And we've done it consistently. So make use of these platforms. Follow them. If they close them down, we will always have another way. But it's always safe to be on Telegram and to be on YouTube. Why? Because you're going to get the information for free. And again, if we have something to communicate, we will do it through Telegram, where they cannot come after us that much. Okay, so all these platforms, you can actually wake up one day and they are closed. So please join all of them. Why? Because you need it. Good. And then we have merchandise that we are selling. We have fermented cabbages. We have a roasted coffee. This one is coffee for brewing. This is not coffee for, it's not instant coffee. You must brew it. So it's roasted. They're just the beans, coffee beans that are roasted and then grounded. Amazing coffee when you're fasting. Amazing coffee in the morning after a workup. So you can actually go and purchase yours at 600 bob only at Imenti House. Mwenga can actually make sure that Brown Mwenga can make sure you have that. Okay, simply call the office contact and you'll be forwarded to Brown Mwenga's contact so that you can actually go and purchase this. And the office contact, of course, for physical and online consultations is 0707074722. If you're outside the country, instead of using the first 07, use +254. So +254 0707 4722. That is a contact that you can use to book an appointment with us, to have a conversation with us. And thank you so much for those who are already trusting us with their health. We are changing lives one day after the other and one person after the other. You can't miss out on these conversations. Some of these questions, I cannot answer them on the live, so you can actually get your answers when you have the time with us. So use that contact to book your online appointment. And also you can use it to book your physical appointments that are going to happen in Nairobi at the end of January. December, we're not coming to Nairobi because, of course, the program is crazy here. So we'll be in Nairobi at the end of January. Use that contact to start booking your physical appointments with us in Nairobi. Use also the same contact to book for your weight loss program that is starting on January the 15th. Now, I know you cannot do that now because you're spending money trying to make sure that people in the village know you are that guy. You've served from January. You must show them that, I am that guy. Kunywa venye mnataka. You take the crate of alcohol and you step on it with your pot belly and saying, mimi ndo chairman. Alafu wanajua, watu wakichaka, wa village, wanajua, kiongozi. Huko kwetu tunasema imboko. Imboko means imboko means the buffalo. You come here and say, hey, buffalo. And in real sense, these guys are calling you a buffalo, a real buffalo, because your upper body is bigger than your lower body. They're like, hey, buffalo. You go, hey, buffalo is here. Imboko njie. Like, I'm the imboko here. Goja January. You don't have resources, no money at all, even no school fees. And then you start complaining, bookshop, it's selling a lot of books very expensively. This bookshop, I don't like it. No, you don't have money. Steve Lago, I can testify that coffee is legit, people. Amazing. Thank you so much, Steve, for that shout out. Amazing. So Imboko is coming in January with a wounded leg. He's limping and he's so angry, just blaming the bookshops for raising. Imboko, you're the problem. Imboko, you drank money for school fees. And you know, a drunk person is a very, very crazy person. A drunk person will carry 200 shillings in his socks saying, this one in your fare. Once I've drunk, I will leave these guys drinking. I'll go and take an Uber home. I have 200 shillings for piki or Uber or tuk-tuk. Gets there with 2,200. 200 is in the socks. And then at home, he has left about 3,000 shillings. He says, no, I will only carry 2,000 because I'm going to do one Jack Daniels. I'm good. If at all where you come from, Jack Daniels is 2,000 shillings. Lie. You'll have to do, is it Chrome? So I'm going to do one 750 ml of Chrome. I am out. I listen to music. My favorite DJ, my favorite music. I listen to it. I dance. I sample girls here and there. And I'm like, I am out with my 200 shillings home. Wait until this guy is given 2 shots, 2 tots of the same Chrome. This guy starts doing this. You know that time? Walevi mnajua hiyo wasaa. When you're doing this, then you see all these colors hitting the waitresses. And waitresses are dressed in either white or red. And when they hit with those lights, the club lights, you're like, Allah, I am not going to get out of here without this one. You know, man, you know that? You're like, ile mia sita ilikuwa ninunue coffee ya Dr. Lewis. Let me just use it to buy a quarter of more Chrome. And you take that quarter and then now everything is, you're sweating and you feel so nice about the feeling. Now you're like, but I had some 3,000 at home. I mean, and on my M-Shwari I have something. So let me show these guys that it's 2 a.m. We cannot drink without meat. We decided, you know what, I'm going to Fuliza. Pop, instantly. And I think Safaricom are very sharp. You just do this before you even Fuliza, before you even put in the pin, they already sent the money. Now you bought meat from a butcher that you don't even know. You remember that tomorrow when you're just sobering up. Like, I bought meat. Mimi, nyama. I had 5,000 yesterday on M-Pesa. Where is going to... yeah? Mistakes that we make. So yes, so please use this time to actually lead a healthy life. Save, because in January it's going to be crazy. Do not overdrink. You don't deserve it. It's going to take money from your pocket and nothing is going to change. So enjoy where you can, but make sure that you still maintain a healthy life. So amazing. Thank you for that. Now, a question. So listen to how we used to be asked these questions and I'm like, too much information. Too much. So this is a question that I'm posing to medical students in this building, those who have been here for the longest time. Nurses, nutritionists, pharmacists, farm techs, CEOs, MOs and all that. Haya, tuende nalo. A 70-year-old man presents with history of smoking. He has smoked all his life and drinks alcohol too. He has chronic pancreatitis. And he has diabetes and on medicines for diabetes, specifically Triviamet. In brackets, sitagliptin 50 mg and metformin 1000 mg. And he is now complaining of yellow discoloration, a lot of itching, yellow eyes, fatigue, and unexplained weight loss. Question 1. What tests should be done? Question 2. What diagnosis do you suspect? Yeah, what is even suspect? Question 3. Where do you think the itching is coming from? Eh? And this question are very crazy. They start saying, according to question 1A above, hey. Number 4. Identify risk factors in his history. Hello? This one you must answer. This one you guys must answer. Identify the risk factors in his history. Hey, hii ndo mnakuwa madaktari. When you answer these questions, you're a medic, my friend. And then, what are the side effects of sitagliptin? Hey, so let's start with risk factors. What are the risk factors? Alcoholism, perfect. Cigarettes, perfect. Hey, medication, alcohol, smoking, perfect. Hey, you guys, I can't even do this anymore. Let me take what and we end the show. Age, perfect. Nyinyi sasa nyinyi hata msha qualify. Go and put on a title, go and use a badge, just buy a stethoscope, wear a lab coat and then come, let's do this job, man. I ain't a medic, but I can challenge. Korir, now you see. I wanted somebody to point out that one. You don't have to be a medic to understand this language. Don't be lied to just because this guy went to a medical school for 8 years or a pharmacy school for 6 or 7 years. He is so informed than you do. The only difference is he was guided to where he is. He read a syllabus. You can actually sit down for 2 years reading that syllabus. You'll understand it more than them because for you will be doing it with no pressure. For him, he was doing it with the pressure to do an exam. So that fear that you guys have of the medical practitioners, pharmacists, dentists, and all that, it has to go. It has to go. Is there a differential diagnosis? If you're here, you can simply go back to the video, you'll see. We talked about differential diagnosis when we said the CA19-9. Guys, if you've been here for long, you simply know the answers to these things. There's no fear. Please do not fear your doctor. If I give you a whole syllabus, if I give you, let's say, a textbook for the gynecology, OBS and gynecology, and you sit down with no pressure of doing an exam, and you study it to understand, you will ask questions that nobody has ever asked. All these things are in those syllabus. The only problem is that the custodians of the syllabus are so empty. And then, because they want to hide that emptiness, they have to put up an ego. And they have to make you feel like the patient, and they feel that they are the professionals. Oh, let the fear go. Just the same way you don't fear politicians anymore. Let that fear go. Ask questions that you need to ask. Don't even, wacha tu agombane. Akigombane we uliza. And then just relax. Akigombane, wacha agombane, sit back, enjoy his words because you have an identity. Zitakuwa zinaingia tu zikitoka. Stay so calm. Once he's settled down, remind him that he has not answered your question. That's the way to go. Oh, we will empower you to make sure that they are empowered indirectly. Because if you try to empower them, they call you controversial. When you try to tell them the truth, they know is the truth, but they don't want to accept it because they've been practicing the evil nature of the system, and now it's time for them to unlearn. So empower their clients. Once you empower their clients, whether they like it or not, they will have to be empowered too. They must. Hey, that is the technique. They will have to be empowered. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for actually attending this and taking your time to be here to actually make sure that you get these snippets of health so that you can actually use this for your own benefit to prevent infections and diseases and conditions that we actually have control over. Pancreatic cancer is one of the cancers that's actually number 4 on the cancers that cause death. Number 4. It is one condition that you can actually make sure that you can reverse it with a lot of ease. Stop eating those inflammatory foods. Start fasting. Sleep early. Ease up on stress levels. Ease up on medication on your prescription. And you have to do that by eating healthy. Make sure you reconnect with nature. Walk barefoot. Walk in a stream. Bond with people that you actually are close to your family. Get an identity from them. And then we will see you on Friday for Identity Fridays. where all will go down. So it's a pleasure having you as my audience. I appreciate all of you. I hope that this live has actually impacted you positively. And wherever place that you like us to improve, make sure you notify us. We will do that very fast, because we are not here for ourselves. Without you guys, we are nothing. So thank you so much for being my audience. Thank you for being an amazing audience, always participating, always getting this into your heads and becoming so much better every single day. I wish you a good night, and I will see you again on Friday, same time, same channel, same doctor on Identity Fridays. You can't miss out on that show. Have a good night.